So with constraints, we can do pretty complex animations. Let's go ahead and make this cube a propeller, and we're going to attach that propeller to Suzanne. So I'll tab into edit mode, I'll scale it down pretty small, and then I'll scale it along the z-axis, and then scale it along the y-axis a little bit to sort of flatten it out. Actually, you know what? I'll scale along the x-axis the other way. All right, so then I'll tab back out so that this is a separate object, and then I'll do Shift-A and add Suzanne. And let me go to top view actually. I'm going to move Suzanne backwards a little bit so that her face is kind of touching the tip of that propeller. Actually, I'm going to scale that a little bit more. All right, there we go. So now that propeller is kind of in front of Suzanne's face. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to rotate this propeller, but I want it to follow along with Suzanne's head. So there's a couple different ways I could do this. I'm going to go ahead and set up that animation first. So I'm going to go to my front view, and I'm going to hit I and just animate the rotation. So that's the first keyframe. I'll make this about 40 frames long. I'll move my playhead ahead to 40 frames, and I'll hit R and rotate around, and then hit I for insert rotation. Now here's the thing, that was okay, but if I want it to rotate around a lot more, I need to make this number for the Y rotation a lot bigger than 144 degrees. So I could just add, for example, a 0 to that, and it's going around quite a lot. And if I hit I with my cursor over that number, then it'll affect that change to that keyframe. So now it's spinning many, many times, actually probably too many times, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and make that, how about 800? And then again, I'll hit I for rotation, and now it's rotating a little bit slower. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead to 0 so I can see what my camera is going to see. Now I want this to follow along with Suzanne's head, so I want the position change to be directed by Suzanne's head. Before that though, I'm going to use one of the constraints to attach this propeller to Suzanne. So I'll select the propeller, I'll go to the Constraints tab, right there, go to Object Constraint, and I'm going to do Copy Location. Now it's going to copy the location of Suzanne, so if I click on this flyout, I can choose Suzanne, or you can use the eyedropper. But here you can see that it's smack dab in the middle of Suzanne's head. And if I move that around, it is following with Suzanne, but it's not exactly sticking in front of her face. So what I want to do is click on Offset. And once it's set to Offset, then I can grab that propeller and move it forward so that it's back in front of Suzanne's face. So you might have to readjust that. But now if I move Suzanne, it will stay offset from her face. So if I scrub through, there we go. Now I can go ahead and start animating Suzanne. So I'll go to 0 to get my camera view. I'll hit G and Y to move Suzanne off screen. It's basically going to be the same as the last one. I, and this time just for location. And then I'll jump ahead to 40 frames. I'll hit G and Y to grab Suzanne and move her off screen. And then I for location. Noticing that when I'm doing the location animation, that's for Suzanne's position. And there's the propeller moving along with it. Now, because of some of you are running on really older computers, I'm not going to have you render it. So just go ahead and save this file as your last name. I'll save it to my desktop. Suzanne with propeller. And then save. And then just upload this .blend file to Canvas.